Hello viewers, good evening. This is Attorney Gehi and welcome to this live segment brought to you by Attorney Gehi. Green Card with Gehi is the name of the show, as you all rightly know. And it's such a pleasure being on the show with such a fabulous audience. The rules of the show, as always, we're going to talk about the latest burning issue. And I know that everyone is waiting for this particular topic to be discussed at length. The Trump ban, what it entails to H-1B visa holders and to L-1 visa holders, and how are they going to be affected. That's what we are going to talk about, especially also about the J visa holders as to what's going to happen with them. And, we're going to talk at length about those issues. And it's a very unfortunate situation, but I'm going to talk to you as to what I see from this and what is going to come out of it in the near future. So that's what we are going to discuss today. And besides that, I would request everyone, if you have any questions, the rules are that you have to mention your name, your real name, and the question, and you have to come on our Zoom show live to ask the questions. And it's very simple, just become a participant and you'll be allowed to ask your question. And if not, you can basically type your question over here and we'll do our best to answer those questions. And if you have to reach us, easy way to reach us is at info@gehilaw.com, or you can call us at 718-263-5999 to make an appointment with the firm. So today is basically, we are waiting for 3 more minutes so that people can ask the questions. And besides that, thank you to all our viewers who are very much interested in the e-visas. So we've been getting a lot of consultations about e-visas. And the good news is you're still allowed to file for the e-visa. So that's why I stress on the importance of the e-visa, especially for nationals from countries who have this great advantage of applying for the E1 or the E2 visa. E1 is the treaty trader program, and E2 happens to be the treaty investor. So first thing is always look at whether your country is a member of the E1 or the E2. So now, as I said, once with 6:30, we're going to start rocking, and in between, as I said, stay tuned, and the rules, as you rightly know, and from 6:30 to 6:45 p.m., we're going to have basically an introduction as to what's happening with the H-1B visas and what the Trump ban means to all of us. And from 6:45 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be taking questions from our viewers. And based upon the demand from our viewers want us to have the show every Wednesday. So we will be having our next show on the following Wednesday instead of a Monday. And we'll be kind of sending it information. So instead of Mondays, we'll be just having a big show on Wednesdays. So you won't have the following Monday show. You're going to have a Wednesday show because people are getting back to work and they want to hear a lot. So therefore, our Zoom shows will continue every week. And we are going to cover many different areas of the law, especially because the immigration courts are opening up very soon in July. And there's a lot that will be happening from immigration. And very soon, we'll be seeing some momentum from USCIS, and they'll start kind of processing a lot more visas than ever before, especially because, the good news is that the situation for COVID is coming under control. So everyone is taking one step at a time. And I believe that that's the right way to deal with COVID from, as far as everyone is concerned. And as I said, let's start talking today about basically the H-1B. And I know many people are anxious. They have friends, they have relatives, they're all stuck up in different countries. And what is really going to happen? And what are the other things you need to do in order to basically make sure that you're protected in this country, so that you get out of this entire situation and you don't have to deal with the H-1B visa. What can you do about it? So that's what we're going to discuss. We're going to come up with creative ways as to what people need to do. So it's 6:30 sharp. Let's get going. Today's topic is the Trump ban. Is it good or bad? It's bad. Why? I'm not saying this. Tesla is saying this, Microsoft is saying this, Amazon is saying this. All the Fortune 500 are saying that it's going to drown the economy more if we do not have talented people coming and working in the United States of America. People forget that America is a country that was created by immigrants. Christopher Columbus was not born in America, folks. And for history buffs, I want you to know that even Alexander Hamilton was an immigrant in this country. We've had great people like Albert Einstein come into this country. And these are the people who have made America great. So Trump's ban upon H-1B visa holders and upon L-1 visa holders is ridiculous, and it's a shame that our nation is not realizing the value that all these talented people bring to the United States of America. If we were wrong, Tesla would not be supporting us. Microsoft would not be supporting us. Amazon would not be standing up for the rights of H-1B visa holders, as well as L-1 visa holders, as well as other people who are going to be affected by this ban. So the meat and potatoes of the ban will be discussed. Very first thing is, if you are in the US right now, there is nothing for you to be worried about this because you are already here. Now, for example, you're living in the US and you have an H-1B visa. You change your status to an H-1B. If your passport is not stamped, please do not commit the mistake right now of leaving the country, because you can be stuck up in that country. So the first part of this particular program, we are going to focus upon people who are already here. Then we are going to talk about people who are abroad. So the Trump ban applies to people who are waiting abroad right now for the stamping of the H-1B visas, and people who might have been approved and the consulate has not stamped the visa, they cannot fly into the United States. Unfortunately, if your spouse is on an H-4 and if she went abroad and if her passport is not stamped, she's stuck over there. If a company has sponsored a foreign employee to come to the United States on an H-1B visa, on an L-1 visa, an L-1A, or an L-1B, and their passport is not stamped, they are stuck abroad right now. According to the administration, they just want to wait until things change in the country. And once Americans start getting the right kind of employment, then Trump wants to kind of get rid of this ban. And it also applies to J visa holders. So this is the sad tragedy, and it's affecting a lot of people. Now, who are the people who are actually affected by this ban? H-1B visa holders, L-1A, L-1B, you're very much affected. Student visa holders are not affected. Visitor visa holders, they can continue to travel and go back. So honestly, in all fairness, you're going to see a lot more things coming out about the ban. The ban does not make any sense. The ban can best be described as nonsense. Because how could you exclude a class of people without making a clear judgment, it's difficult to even comprehend the fact as to how people in the administration are coming up with these bans. This means that it's just an arbitrary and capricious way of just excluding a class of people from coming into the United States. All these things happen, especially when you're going to reach this political time in this country. That's the time we see these things happening, which I think it's very, very wrong as to what is happening at this stage. So there are H-1B doctors. And if that doctor went to his home country for stamping, and if he's stuck over there, are we doing justice to people who are being treated by this doctor for COVID? The answer is no. Actually, the people of America will suffer more, especially when you don't have the right talent present in the country. These are people who are highly educated. They benefit the economy. They pay their taxes. So therefore, if you are banning L1A, L1B, H1 visa holders, and their spouses, as well as J visa holders, I don't think so we are doing justice to the United States of America. So that's a little bit about the ban. Now, suppose in case of there's somebody, even if he had a date over there to go for his visa stamping, he is stuck. When is the ban going to open up? I don't know. They said by the end of the year. But what is going to happen during the ban is very important. There will be class action lawsuits. Trump's orders are a gross and a blatant violation of the Administrative Procedures Act, particularly because the sponsoring company has paid a fee to the government for the processing of the visas. So if the money was paid, and after that, if the service is not provided, then that becomes an issue before the court of law. Secondly, it doesn't make any sense to have an H-1B visa holder over here and a spouse waiting in a foreign country who just went for a stamping. How is the economy being affected when that H-4 spouse is just going to come back and live with the husband? Explain me, folks, how does this particular law make any sense to all of us? There's a very good saying in the world of jurisprudence, and this is very widely said by Austin on jurisprudence. And the saying goes like this: life of law is based upon logic and experience. And I think that the current administration is even defying logic. So therefore, it's sad that if your spouse is stuck up abroad, or if you are stuck up abroad right now, just because of this issue, according to me, there will be an injunction that may be granted by some court in the United States. I strongly anticipate that some good judge will grant an injunction that would kind of enjoin, which means that will stop the Trump administration from the enforcement of this order. And this will go a long way. And the whole idea, which I believe is just to show that they're doing something for stopping immigrants from coming into the country. There's nothing else. Now, in the past, we used to deal with issues pertaining to undocumented immigrants. But now you're even dealing with legal immigrants in the country. And does the president actually have the power to do this? The answer, according to me, is no. There's something which is known as the separation of powers. the doctrine of separation of powers. So it's sad to see that the executive branch of the government, it is sad to see that the executive branch of the government of the United States is intermeddling with the judicial branch of the government. So at the end of the day, I think it's not the right thing to do. These people are very talented when they're hired. It's not that any company is going to pick up any Tom, Dick, and Harry and hire an H-1B visa worker. They're not picking up an L-1A or an L-1B to just come in and work for the company. There are procedures in place. There are laws in place. And I strongly feel that the laws need to be respected in our nation. If you're a J visa holder, you're coming in as a researcher. You're coming in a top position to become a trainer here. And America is suffering because of not having these people here. America suffers because you are trying to target the cream of the crop in the United States. So a lot of questions came to me. What happens, Mr. Gehi, if I'm here and if I'm applying for my extension of stay in the United States? You're not affected. What happens if I'm changing my status from one visa to another visa in the United States? You are not being affected. People who will be affected the most are people who do not have a stamp on their passports and they want to travel abroad. Luckily, I haven't seen anything about the e-visas. So if you're applying for an e-visa, you are in good shape. Another message that I want to give to my viewers is that asylums are being looked upon very closely by the Trump administration, and they're even trying to stop asylums before a person has a full procedural right before the court. They want to give powers to judges wherein they can just kind of decide on the spot whether a person should be even having the right to have a trial in an asylum case, which I think is going to be a denial of due process of the law. So there's a lot happening from the current administration. And I tell people that if you're undocumented, start becoming legal. And if you are on an H-1B, and if you're not from India or from China, try to go ahead with the green card process. Tell your employer that, I can work with any attorney and I need to basically kind of get my green card in order if you think that my services are extraordinary. Start discussing your green card issue with your employer. The time is right now. If you're going to wait for a long time, I don't know what other laws are coming out in this country. And it's important for us to know that be safe. If you're out of status, get your documents in order. And if you're currently in status, speak to your employer. Make sure that you kind of start your green card process. If you're considering asylum, file it as soon as possible. It's very important for you to do so. If you are getting married to a citizen or a green card holder, make sure that you submit your application to the government as soon as possible. So these are some very important things for all of you to know. And if you have any questions, you can talk to us and you can also email us. We'll be happy to take the questions now. And we are going to open up the floor for some question and answers from our viewers. So we are going to open the floor soon and you can start typing your questions because this show is live right now. And if you have any questions, we'll start taking the questions soon. So if you have any questions, you all can start kind of typing it and we'll be happy to take your questions. Or if not, we'll be answering questions for our viewers on the show very soon, especially with the questions that we got, from some of our viewers. All right, so we have around quite a few participants. And if you have Mr. KK, hello? KK, do you have a question? My L1 is expiring in August 2020. How can I stay? Number one is that if you're L1, are you on an L1A or an L1B? That's number one. Secondly, you need to make sure that your L1 can actually be extended if you have time. If you're a manager, you can go up to 7 years. You can ask your company to actually basically start looking to other avenues. But the best thing for you to do, Rahul, is to just explain everything to me in detail by emailing me at info@gehilaw.com. Then I can look up for some avenues so that we can look into what we can do for you. So Hardik has a question. Hardik, please ask us your question.
Hello, Mr. Gehi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Hardik?
I'm very good, and you know me very well.
Yes, Hardik.
Yep. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure. How's everything, Hardik?
Pretty good. Always remembering you. And
Can you tell your viewers what we've done?
well, I would just say to viewer everyone that Mr. Gehi is really, really good. He's the best in the terms of immigration matters, and I always I had a difficult case in immigration, and I'm citizen now, and I'm planning to get married, and this has been going on for some time. And from time to time, I asked Mr. Gehi's advice, and this I also today also I'm asking the same advice.
Sure, time. Please tell me what's your question.
That if I'm looking for somebody who is here either on visitor visa or student visa, how much time I have to wait before kind of getting married or something? So let's just say if I like somebody who is here on visitor,
you can get married immediately in your matter. That's not going to hurt you at all. And God willing, like she should be able to get the green card within around 8 to 12 months.
8 to 12. And like, so, but like, is there a condition like if the person here is on the visitor visa and like I have to wait for like at least 4 or 5 months before?
Depends on how long she has been here. And, then I can look into that and we can, finish up the case. I'm not too worried about it and I can take care of it for you.
And similarly, if somebody is here on the student visa or H1 visa,
that's absolutely fine too.
That's absolutely
fine.
That
is absolutely fine too.
All right.
Nothing to worry about that. Any other questions?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So there are some other people who are raising their hands. So if you have more questions, you can ask us. This really makes the show very interesting, especially when people have questions. So KK, you raised your hand. KK? Hello? KK, you need to turn on your mic so that I can answer questions, for you. So folks, as I said, as you've seen, people are asking questions and the show is live on Zoom. If you have any questions, ask us as Hardik did. And KK has raised his hand again. So please, KK, turn on your mic. This is a live show and I'd be happy to answer a question. Or if not, you can also chat with us and the chat forum is also open over here. And as I said, if you have any questions, you can also email us and you can make an appointment and come in and see us. We are taking limited appointments now and I can see people in person. So that's the good news. And we started accepting cases and we can just schedule an appointment and we can see you at the stage on a limited basis. So start emailing us if you want to come in and see us. So New York is allowing us to see, limited number of people. So please start emailing us, especially if you want to apply for your asylum, your marriage-based immigration case, your H-1B, your E-1 visa, or your O visa, or any other type of visa. So now let's talk a little bit about the O-1B, which we had mentioned in the past. And if you're an athlete, if you're an actor, if you're a performer, and if you're watching the show in any other country, the good news is that exactly you should consider the O visa category. So we have a question over here, from some other people. So let's start kind of basically talking. So KK has a question. I have a concern. While we were on B1, B2, we delivered a child in the US and used Medicaid, then came back to our country, India. Within the same time allotted. Now, a new rule has been introduced in January 2020. I wanted to know, I don't think so you should have a problem at this stage if you used. Generally, they do not bring up this issue. But the other way to handle this is what you can do is you can make a payment or work out something. But basically, the people who provided you with the service, and you can get rid of this problem. Or what you'll have to do is, KK, send me an email at info@gehilaw.com, and we can disguise this. We can kind of discuss this issue. My apologies. We can discuss this issue, and we can let you know how to answer those questions if you're coming to the border, and if CBP questions you about this issue. So, KK, you can send it again. Yes, I do have your email. So we can have a Zoom talk on a Sunday or something. So we'll just take it from then. I did reply to you. If you look at your emails, I did send you a reply to your question. So I don't anticipate a big problem. But that's what it is, I believe. I don't see it to be a major issue. But if you want to be super safe, then we can discuss it at a personal level on Zoom, because I want to see that what happened with the child, which hospital your wife went to, and whether you overstayed your visa. Those are the factors I want you to send me in your detailed email. So that's about KK's question. And if you have any other questions, feel free to type them on the chat board, or you can actually kind of come on live and ask us your question at this particular moment. So, okay, now you have Anil Emanuel from Facebook. I am Muslim in Israel. I'm persecuted by the state. How can I move to the US? Well, what you need to do is you can apply for a refugee status by looking up the rules before the consulate, American consulate or any other consulate with any other country. And if you can write your story, look up the procedure, then you have the right to apply for refugee status. And some countries do accept them. And if they accept you, then you'll be allowed to come into the United States or to some other country, provided you can show that you have fear of persecution in your home country. And under the US laws, that falls under Section 208 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So that's something that you need to look into the Refugee Convention. And if you read the Refugee Convention, I see that you'll have an avenue to apply, and whether to grant you the status as a refugee or no, it's entirely up to the unfettered discretion of the Consulate of the United States of America. So that's the answer to Anil Emanuel's question. So if you have more questions, ask them. We are live on the show, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So now, folks, as I'm saying that we started taking limited appointments. Call us at 718-263-5999 during working hours. Working hours in the office are from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. It's Saturday we have shorter hours, but once if you call, if you're a first-time caller, then let them know about it. And if not, you can email us. We are always available by email to help our clients, basically to make sure that we do our best for you. And a few rules: the personal consultation or the free personal consultation is meant for people who want to retain a lawyer. But if you're doing your case on your own, then I think you need to call immigration. And we do not have a service to answer people who are doing the paperwork on their own. We don't provide that service in our firm. So if you're doing your paperwork on your own, if you have questions, then you should consider calling immigration. So now, no, KK, this is not the same Zoom ID. You'll have to email me at info@gehilaw.com, and we'll have to create a separate ID to talk to you, and we'll have to see what we can do. Or we may either basically, first I need your complete history, and then I can either try to answer it by email, or we'll see if a Zoom meeting is necessary on that. So first, email me everything and we'll take it from there. So the other question here is that Azimullah from Facebook, is there any way to get a work visa for US? My cousin lives in Pakistan and I want him to come live here in New York to work. All right. So Azim, this is what he can do. He's from Pakistan. Luckily, he's a member of the e-visa countries. So if he can invest in your business, or if he has money to start another business, then he can consider the e-visa and he can come in the United States legally. That is allowed because he was born in Pakistan and he has a chance of actually kind of coming to the United States legally on an e-visa. So that's very important. So this is the answer to Anil Emmanuel's question. So some more questions, and if you are applying for asylum, make sure that you get your asylum application in as soon as possible. We've started opening up slowly, and if you want to even make a personal meet us personally, we can do that. The easy way to do that is to email us first. Then we can set up an appointment. Then we can start your case. So the procedure is info@gehilaw.com if you're in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. If you're in any other state, we can have a Zoom meeting with you, or we can start the case on the phone and we can begin your case. So this is how America is working these days, because your health is very important to us. We want to make sure that you are safe, we are safe, and we all basically pass through this difficult stage of our lives without having any COVID issues. So as I said, we can see you now in person if needed, by appointments only, and you have to email us at info@gehilaw.com if you want to if you want to meet with us and if you want to start your case. And the consultation will be done on the phone. When you're ready, then we can also see you in our firm. So we started reopening slowly. So this is great news, and best way, email us. So another question here. What are my views on undocumented immigrants versus documented? All right, Sam Vatiki. Tough question. So undocumented immigrants, if they've been here for a long time, and if they have children born in this country, and if they are going to benefit the United States, if they do not have a criminal record, if they are ready to work hard, and if they are ready to pay taxes, then they should be given an opportunity to live in the United States, because America is a country that was built by immigrants. Christopher Columbus did not come with his green card to this country. Of course, I'm saying that exactly we need to protect our borders, but we cannot blame these people because the past administrations have not done anything about it. So my say is very clear that there should not be a free pass. There should be something like a guest worker program wherein that should lead these people to eventually get their citizenship in America. So not all undocumented immigrants are bad. And people who have a serious felony records, they should not be benefiting. I am fair. I also want to make sure that people who are not for immigration should understand one thing in this country. A child born in the United States is an American citizen, except for in very limited circumstances if you're born to a diplomat. I'm very particular when I talk because I read a lot. I read 4 hours every day. So why should you penalize a child for the sins of his parents? So we need to be fair in the system. We should give a chance to those people who are ready to pay taxes, who are ready to pay a penalty, and who want to become a part of the system. Then later on, we should close our doors. This is my answer to your question. And, because we need to understand at the end of the day, we are human beings. We always need to look at the totality of circumstances before we make a decision, rather than making an abrupt decision in our nation. So thank you, folks. This is Attorney Gehi, and it's been a fabulous show. Thank you to every single viewer. Share this video. Spread the word that this is a live show next Wednesday, live with Attorney Gehi on the same issue of H-1Bs and how the bar is going to affect us. And for asylum seekers, when Trump is planning on changing the executive order and banning asylum seekers from applying for the asylum or changing the laws of asylum. Very important show for next week. It's going to be what's going to happen with asylums and the future of the H-1B visas. Thank you, folks. This is Attorney Gehi. The instant program constitutes an attorney advertisement under the laws of the state of New York. The advice given in this program is general in nature and does not apply to any specific facts or circumstances unless and until a particular agreement is entered, which is commonly referred to as an attorney-client is entered between the parties, and prior results do not guarantee future outcome. See you next week on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Zoom. Thank you, folks.